enough, Tom. We'll stand by here. Joining us here in our booth is Tex Schramm, the president and general manager of the Dallas Cowboys. For a team that had nothing to play for today, I would say the Cowboys, you're not cold, are you, Tex?
No, I'm not cold. It's been a very pleasant day.
Sure it has.
No, I'm very, very pleased because this is the way you should finish the season. I'm glad that we've won 6 straight games to close it out. We should go into the playoffs with the proper momentum. And I'm just couldn't be happier with the way they played today because they played with a lot of enthusiasm. It was a time that they could have gone out and just gone through the motions, but they didn't. That's the mark of a team that has a lot of ambition.
White impressed me. For a guy throwing only 10 passes this year, with the wind blowing as it did, he ran that team and he looked like, he was really the boss out there.
Well, he has a lot of poise. I think that's one of the things that's going to mark his future, is that he has a great deal of presence of mind. He's intelligent. He knows how to utilize his football players. He knows how to utilize his runners and his backs, and he's a very, very much more experienced than his playing time would indicate.
We saw Laidlaw go out, and we also saw Robert Newhouse go out. We never got any word. Was there anything to speak of? Or?
No, I don't. Not from what we've learned down there. I think that they just took them out just not to risk any further injuries, particularly since the other ones were playing well. We didn't have any halfbacks. We had to leave Tony Dorsett in until the very end. But I think that we're going to be just about 100% healthy for the playoffs, and that's the way you want to be.
29 carries for 121 yards for Dorsett. Pretty good way to finish up the season.
Well, I'll tell you, I thought he was going to bust one 2 or 3 times. It looked like he was just a trip or a hand away. He's going to be a real asset to this football team for many years because he gets that tough yardage as well as getting the long ones.
Isn't it strange, though, as we were remarking up here, the way when you're winning, everything seems to work right, and even on Dupree's reception, he fumbles the ball in one hop right to Dorsett.
Well, we were talking, at the first half of the season, when things weren't going so well, and everybody was saying, what's wrong with the Cowboys? Well, at that period, it seems that when you're not playing well, the ball does bounce the wrong way for you. It doesn't bounce right. And the last half of the season, things were bouncing, and this was a good example of it. I thought Danny White did 2 or 3 things that were unbelievable when he should have had a punt blocked and held it and got it away, and when the ball went over his head and he pulled that play out, he almost got caught for a safety. He's just got real, as I said, great presence of mind.
One statistic I know you have to be proud of. This, of course, is the Cowboys' 20th game, counting 6 exhibitions, and I don't know if they keep records on this, but you may be the first pro football team to ever sell out all 20 games, both at home and away. That's one that can't be topped anyway.
No, I think that is kind of unusual. We're trying to check if there are any statistics that show that, and but we're very proud of it because it means that it's easy to sell out your home games, but when you sell out all of the road games, particularly even during preseason, that means that there's a lot of folks around the country that like you.
Well, when you have a dynasty, Tex.
I'm not going to say that word. You said that word.
If you get to the Super Bowl, win it again this year? I mean, the way things have gone this season?
Well, if we can follow through and do what we should do in the playoffs, I'll reserve what I say.
Thank you very much, Tex.
Okay, back live in New York. We were delaying for just a moment so we could hook up with the Jets and the Dallas Cowboy audience. And, of course, all those Cowboy fans were listening to Tex Schramm, who was praising his franchise. And look at the final score. 30-7 with Danny White at quarterback. Those of you who watched the game, you realize that White pulled one superb play on a punt when he got into trouble and finally got it off under pressure. Now let's check the rest of the scores around the league for everybody. 17-10, New Orleans leading Tampa Bay in the 4th quarter. Doug Williams has returned, was injured again, but now is back playing for the Buccaneers. Philadelphia needs a win here and a loss out on the West Coast to get into the playoffs. They're doing their part, 23. They are going to beat the New York Giants. 20-3, the count right there. San Francisco has lost 2 quarterbacks today. Freddie Solomon is quarterbacking the 49ers. He has been hit once for a loss of 23 yards on a scramble, but he has also scored 1 touchdown for them. And the big count being run up by Cincinnati, 48-16 in the fourth quarter. Homer Rice, no doubt, is going to stick right there with the Bengals. Paul Brown won't make a change after the way they've closed out. 28-14 in the third. Big surprise there. And as Irv Cross reported earlier, Jim Hart has never lost to the Falcons, and he is keeping that record intact. Final is just in 17-10, New Orleans over Tampa Bay. That's a final, 17-10, New Orleans. This is a third quarter score. Buffalo and Chuck Knox leading Baltimore by a score of 14-7. And that's all of the games that are underway right now. We do have some highlights, and we'll get to those as the NFL Today continues on CBS in just a moment. Okay, another final is in 20-3. Philadelphia beats the Giants. Need help out on the coast now. If the Packers or the Vikes lose, the Eagles are going back to the playoffs. So we welcome that audience. Also, the crowd that has been watching Tampa Bay against New Orleans. Let's check in on some highlights right now. Let's start with the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Jets. The wind was gusting out at Shea Stadium this afternoon. Tony Dorsett scored the first touchdown for the Cowboys, weaving his way up the middle, 7-0 on the extra point. Now, Irv, here's Aaron Kyle on a key defensive play.
What a big afternoon he had. That's the second key play he made in the first half. He had an interception, and that one, of course, is a fumble recovery.
Now, Danny White hitting Butch Johnson right here.
You know, the Cowboys are so darn deep. When everybody heard they weren't going to start some of their starters, they felt, well, maybe they'd take a day off. Not so. Look at this guy.
Newhouse returns from that slightly fractured leg, obviously. Danny White now looking for Billy Joe Dupree. On the fumble, it was picked up right there by Dorsett, who went all the way for the touchdown. Matt Robinson, the man who replaced the injured Richard Todd. Here he is coming out, looking for Jerome Barkham for the score, and the Cowboys go on to win it easily by a score of 30-7. All right, we've got New Orleans and Tampa Bay. And the Saints improving this year under Dick Nolan. So did the Buccaneers. Then, of course, they suffered the misfortune of losing their quarterback, Doug Williams. Here now is Archie Manning looking right straight down the field to Childs, who was hit hard but holds on. From the 22, it was Chuck Muncie who was scoring the go-ahead touchdown. At that time, it was 10-3. Now Manning pulling straight back, and this pass will be intercepted by Dave Lewis. And Lewis of the Buccaneers will take it inside the 20. Now on the next play, George Ragsdale ran it to the Saints' 7-yard line. 4th and goal, and he's looking for Giles, and he's got him for the score. And here is Manning, who's going to the Pro Bowl in the LA Coliseum this year, behind Roger Staubach and the NFC quarterbacks. Touchdown pass to Henry Childs. Now, Irv, we've got the Giants in Philadelphia, and I guess your man Montgomery really started out good. Why don't you handle this one?
Wilbert Montgomery had a big day. He is now the Philadelphia Eagles' all-time leading ground gainer, and there he is right now, number 31 from Abilene Christian. This guy scored 76 touchdowns in college, and he knows how to get in the end zone. With that run, he set an all-time Eagle rushing record. Here he goes off his right guard for a touchdown, and the Eagles take a 6-0 lead. They missed the extra point. Jaworski goes up high to Harold Carmichael on an old alley-oop type pass. Remember, he's 6'8". Nobody can get him at Harold. He comes down with it. A big play for the Eagles, putting him in scoring position on that drive. The Giants getting the ball. Fake a punt here. Dave Jennings throwing the ball outside to Brian Kelly. He's hit, fumbles it. And, of course, Jennings has to recover the ball for the Giants. It was not the Giants' day. Frank Lemeister picking this pass off, setting up an Eagles scoring opportunity. The score at that point was 20-3, and the Philadelphia Eagles went on to win that ball game and are still alive for the playoffs.
Of San Francisco and Detroit, and the story here is Freddie Solomon. He's been forced to play quarterback for the 49ers. They have lost 2 quarterbacks to injuries this afternoon. Let's check in. Here now is Steve DeBerg and Jack Steptoe wide open. It was 7-3 49ers. But DeBerg was lost because of a knee injury. Gary Danielson, taking advantage of a fumble, gave it to Dexter Bussey. It was 13-7 Lions. Pass interference in the end zone on this sequence gave the Lions 1st and goal, and they scored from there. Here's Freddie Solomon at quarterback. And, of course, he came out of college as a quarterback before he was shifted to outside receiver by Don Shula. There is the pass now to number 85, Paul Seal, who is wrapped up. And the one thing all of you know that Solomon can do is run. And here he is. Going in for the touchdown. But they're behind 30-14 right now. And, of course, the key game for the Atlanta Falcons, all they have to do is win to wrap up the home field for the playoffs. But wouldn't you know it, they ran into a buzzsaw this afternoon in St. Louis. Here is Jimmy Hart going to Steve down to the 12-yard line.